You guys seriously don't even understand how much my new hairstyle is giving me so much life right now. Like, I'm having a very white trash moment right now, and I'm loving it. And speaking of trash, let's talk about LaGuardia Airport. LaGuardia Airport is in desperate need of a Tabitha takeover. Sidebar, if you know who I'm talking about, leave a scissors emoji down below, right? And if you've watched every episode of every season of Tabitha Takes Over, definitely let me know in the comments, because to this day, I'm obsessed. Tabitha needs a show back. Anyway, LaGuardia Airport is the kind of airport where they think they can fix anything with duct tape. Am I making sense? This actually doesn't have to do with the employees of the airport. This has to do with my problem with a Delta employee. I remember specifically, my flight was around 10 a.m. I went through security and my gate was C13. So I'm in the C area. There's an escalator and a sign above it says C13 and C14, but it doesn't have arrows going down. It's just a sign. And when you look, there's only an escalator going down, but not up. So you know how in airports, if you take the wrong escalator, sometimes you can't get back up or security won't let you or something like. So I wasn't 100% sure that I was supposed to go down this escalator to gate C13. So before I make my move, I'm kind of like, I'm sure I have a confused look on my face, and this guy comes over and he works at Delta and he's wearing a red jacket. Now, I don't know if it's still the same with Delta or if maybe they just changed their color coordination, but at the time, if you worked for Delta and you had seniority among the other employees, you were called a red jacket and you wore a red jacket. So I'm standing there next to the escalator with a confused look on my face, and this guy's walking up to me. So I think, oh, he sees I need help. So before anything comes out of his mouth, I said, oh, excuse me, can you tell me, is C13 that way? Or he goes, yes, down the escalator is C13 right next to C14. I'm like, oh, thank you. I walk away, and then I hear him say to me, but you're gonna need to take off that shirt. And I gotta be honest with you, I thought he was flirting with me. Like, I could tell he was on my team. It's not uncommon for me to meet other gay guys in airports and they're aware of my music or whatever. So I honestly thought that he was flirting with me, like, oh, he's a fan, something like that. But I thought he was flirting with me, okay? So I just turn around, like, give a little chuckle, and he goes, no, sir, you're really gonna have to take that shirt off. Then the whole tone changed, and I turned around, I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yes. So I know you're all wondering, so this is the shirt. I absolutely love this shirt. I have two outfits I always wear when I fly at this time, and this was one of them. It's pink, it's oversized, it's extremely comfortable, and it works great with gray sweatpants. So I would wear this. As a matter of fact, sometimes people that work at the airport will recognize me just from this shirt. Be like, oh yeah, I saw you last week, I remember you wearing that shirt. I always wear this shirt to at least one flight. This is actually from a company called Massive. I don't know if they're around anymore. Their social media hasn't been very active, but one time I DJ'd for an event they threw, and they gave me a bunch of clothes. They're very sweet and I love their clothes. So I said to him, I'm like, what's wrong with this shirt? And I remember word for word, he says, I find that shirt personally offensive and I will not allow you on that plane if you are wearing it. What do you find so offensive about it? He goes, that man is practically naked and I can see his pubic hair. Now, this is true. I actually had never recognized this before, never even noticed that you can see a little bit of his pubic hair at the bottom of it, didn't even think about it. No one ever gave me any idea that this shirt was too outrageous to wear in public. So I said, I'm like, well, I checked my luggage, I don't have another shirt with me. Well, it looks like you're not gonna go on that plane. I could not believe how determined this guy was to up my day. Like, without a doubt, he had a mission. Like, maybe he really didn't like me and he was trying to me. This is the vibes I got from him. So I said, well, how about if I turn it inside out? Can I do that? He goes, yes, right there. Like, he was getting like school teacher with me, like total principal vibes. So I walked into the bathroom that was right there. I go in there, I had my backpack on, I took off my backpack, and then I realized, oh, I have a hoodie in my backpack. I can just put my hoodie on. It's no big deal. So I walk back out. I say, hey, I have a solution. I totally forgot I have a hoodie in my backpack. He goes, well, put it on. Watching me put it on. So it's a zip-up hoodie. I'm zipping it on as I'm walking to the escalator, walking down. As I'm walking away from him, putting on the hoodie, he chases after me, runs down the stairs next to the escalator, gets down before me, runs over to C13, tells the person in front of a whole crowd of people, that gentleman right there, do not allow him on that plane if he is not wearing that sweatshirt. Completely losing his mind. And he kind of embarrassed me, and everyone's looking at me like I'm a problem. So, great. So now the plane is late. It's taking at least an extra 90 minutes to take off. So I have some time, and I was kind of shooken up by this whole experience. I wanted to call the customer service, not really because I was gonna complain or tell him to get fired or get all Karenistical about it, but this seemed really strange. Like, okay, if he came up to me and he was like, "Hey sir, I'm really sorry to have to tell you this, but what you're wearing actually goes against company policy, and I'd really appreciate it if you could either turn it inside out or go put on a hoodie," or something like that, then I probably would have felt guilty. Like, I would have been like, "Oh yeah, of course." But the way he came up to me, just determined to with me, and like taking advantage of the superiority, which I hate it when people do in airports, and a lot of people have experienced this before, really kind of shook me. So this has seemed really strange to me because I only fly Delta. I'm very dedicated to them. So to have somebody talk to me like this just seemed really kind of strange. So I called some customer service number that was there. I had the time. I was waiting around, and I just told them what happened. I'm like, "Is this normal?" They're like, "No, that is not normal at all." I think I emailed her a picture of what I was wearing, my shirt, and she goes, "This is not normal at all. Your shirt actually does not go against company policy in any way, shape, or form. Can you just find out his name so I can figure this out?" So I walked by him. He was behind the desk, and I happened to look at his name tag, and he caught me looking at his name tag. By the way, his name was Jarrett. Like, kind of an annoying name, right? Like, it was Jerrette. Like, I don't know. Sorry if your name's Jarrett. It's just added to the annoyance of it. Once he recognized that I was checking out his name tag, he got the idea that I was probably going to send Delta an email or contact their customer service to let them know that he was being a bitch. So what he did was, when it was time for me to board, I went down to C13, where everyone's in line, and I go up to the guy at C14 because it's literally right next to each other. I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me how long until we land?" And the guy at C14 was like, "Oh, let me see your ticket." I give him my ticket. Jarrett grabs my ticket out of that guy's hand, out of the other employee's hand, takes it, puts it on the scanner, out pops a copy of my ticket, folds it in 3, and taps it into his front pocket while he looks me in the eye like this. So now he has all my information, and what he wants to do is complain about me. Like, this whole thing was just like crazy, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? So now he wants to use my information so he can call up and complain about me or find out anything. So now he has access to my information and knows who I am and my address and my phone number and anything because he works for Delta and he knows my name. He can just look it up. So this made me really uncomfortable. So I went to Charlotte, North Carolina. I had a great show. I came back, and when I landed in LaGuardia Airport, there were 2 employees that pulled me aside and says, "Hey," and they didn't call me by my government name either. They just called me Cazwell. So apparently they know that I fly with them all the time to perform. They're like, "Excuse me, Cazwell." I'm like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey, we heard what happened with Jarrett. We just want you to know we're taking care of it. You're not the first person to have a problem with him, and we really want to apologize." I'm like, "Thanks." I don't know if you found this story as entertaining as I found it, but it really did mess with me at the time. So let me know down below if anyone has any experience of things they weren't allowed to wear on airports, because there's something that affects all of us that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about. So let me know. Plus, I'm giving you a story time because people always tell me, "Oh, give another story time, give another story time," while I try to put together another video. So I have more things coming. Can I also just say one more thing, just one piece of advice to people that fly a lot? Do not wear an article of clothing that has a sports team on it unless you are fully prepared to have a conversation about that sports team. And if you don't play sports, if you don't watch sports, you can't fake it. Like, I can't fake a conversation about sports. Like, that'd be like my father faking a conversation about Balenciaga. Like, it's not gonna happen. Sometimes I would just wear a Yankees hat, or, I really liked this Knicks hoodie I had, but when you wear it in the airport, people automatically assume you're a fan, which I totally get. I understand that. So they want to talk to you about it, but when you try to explain to them that you actually don't watch sports, you have no idea what they're talking about, they have this hurt and confused look on their face. And I feel really guilty. Real quick, I remember one time I was on a plane and I had my luggage in my hand, and that's the point that you're boarding the plane and there's a line behind you, and in front of you there's like 2 people putting up their luggage, so you're kind of stuck there, and there's this guy already sitting down. He's right there on my right, like I cannot escape him, and he looks at me, and I didn't even think about what I was wearing when I left for the airport. I had on a Knicks hoodie with a Knicks hat. Like, I just grabbed it and threw it on, and so obviously I look like a huge Knicks fan, and he says something to me. He goes, "Hey, so who do you think they're gonna choose, like Zeus or Carlos?" or something like that. I was like, "What?" He goes, "Who do you think they're gonna choose?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The Knicks." And I was like, and I said to him, I don't know why I said this. I said, actually, I just grabbed my boyfriend's clothes and threw it on, so I don't know anything about what I'm wearing. And his wife, who was sitting next to him, busted out laughing, and I couldn't escape because I was standing right there. I couldn't move, so I was like, maybe I had to be there. I guess I didn't translate it that hilarious, but Anyway, I'm gonna edit this video and get it up in 20 minutes. That's my goal. Love you.